A Quora questioner wants to know what's up with resentment, especially around the holidays. I mean, why does it seem like holidays breed resentment? Well, let's think about it. The first thing that comes to my mind is you can't spell family without lies. I mean, I'm not saying that's the whole answer, but that's part of the answer. And I know everybody has their own different family dynamic, but the whole point is lots of times we have different things in our dynamic that we kind of bury in different ways and don't really deal with. And they don't come up until we're around all of our family members, and that dynamic cycle starts to happen over and over again. I'm not saying this is happening for everybody. Maybe it's not happening for you. Maybe you have the perfect family. I don't know. But in a lot of families, this is happening. So you're not really experiencing these emotions and these triggers until you get around siblings and parents in the right type of situations, the right type of stress-producing situations that cause you to feel like you did when you were a child. And that's what causes this resentment to some degree. I'm not saying that's all that resentment is about, but I want you to think about your own family dynamics. Think about things that have happened when you were younger. This doesn't have to be traumatic things, just cycles that have happened where you didn't feel comfortable talking about this particular thing. There's always been this dynamic. There's always been this dance. And this dance happens over and over again. And that's part of what breeds resentment for you in some ways. But the other thing is, you might feel resentment when you start to look at social media, which is like, a bad idea sometimes anyways, because comparison is like the devil. It basically takes all joy. It's a joy kill. But sometimes we compare what's happening to other families and the gifts that other people are getting and how their family looks, and we might feel a little resentful that we don't have that. And that might be because your family might have had some losses already. Maybe you lost your parents. Maybe you lost some siblings. And it's not resentment like you're angry at your siblings, although you might be, but it might be just that you're angry that other people get to enjoy the holiday and you can't. It's a hurtful, painful thing for you, and people don't understand the pain you experience during the holiday. That's one thing. The other thing to think about, though, when it comes to resentment, however you are experiencing it, for your friends, for your family, for your significant other, for whoever, wherever this resentment is coming from, you have to ask yourself, what is breeding this resentment for you? Most of the time, a lot of times resentment has to do with things that are repressed or suppressed and never really dealt with. Maybe you don't deal with them because you're not a conflict person. You don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers. You play a certain role in your family, in your friend group, or whatever it is. But if you keep that resentment there, it's going to be like a cancer, and it will metastasize, and it will show up in crazy and strange ways in the future, and it'll affect your functioning, and you don't want that. So maybe in 2020, clear out your resentment so you can have a 2020 vision. See, I did that. Clear focus. But it's hard to have this focus if you are harboring this resentment that's fogging up your lenses. So maybe think about some of those things I said. Regardless of the reason, there's lots of reasons resentment could exist. Then the main thing you want to do is look at your own resentment. Think about if there's some way that you can go ahead and try to clear it out, bring it out into the open. That may involve another person. It may not involve another person, because you can work through emotions without that person being here. In some cases, that person may not be around anymore.